All right, hey everyone, my name is Lucas, and today we are here with Diego, and I'm basically helping him with a learning session for Framer, and he's basically built uh, this this extensive wireframe here in Figma. I'm not even sharing my screen. Let me share my screen. And basically, I want to record this. I want to record this session because I think it might be helpful for everyone else to see if they're starting out with Framer. So um, now you can see my screen, right, Diego?
I can see your screen,
Okay.
but I can't see really the main one. I think it's just a
Oh,
duplicate of the Google Meets.
oh, can you see?
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah, I can see it now.
perfect. All right, so let's just close these, and this one we can close as well. So here's the Figma file. Let's just keep this open. And here's the remix link. So Diego, you were just saying that you built this and you were trying to, you brought this from Figma. I imagine you first set up the Figma file and then you started building this page, right? But you didn't really optimize for other views, right? That's what you were just saying to me, right?
Correct. Just to give a bit of an overview, I came across to an application called Reloom. So it helped me to get the wireframe quite easily for what I had in my mind. And because I'm not a web designer, I have a background in marketing. I just wanted to get as fast as I could into this. So just to put like my ideas into something. And I exported it into Figma. And then once I had the wireframe, instead of exporting everything to Framer because I didn't know how to do it, I decided to build it manually, just the homepage, to have a bit of idea of how Framer works. So then slowly I started to get some challenges. So for just to mention a silly thing, the main logo was not showing on the homepage. And that's when I decided to seek for a bit of help.
Okay. Oh, so this wasn't showing on the homepage.
Correct.
Okay, let's see why. Interesting. I also don't know why it's not showing. Okay. Well, first of all, like, I always, this is like a rule number one for me. Always when I create a new Framer file, I always add these extra viewports because I never I never build something and then at the end optimize it for the different screens. I always try to build it responsively simultaneously, right? So if I'm gonna build this section, I'm gonna try to make it responsive in the other ones, right? Because right now you can see, for example, there are some little technical things that we can fix, right? Like for example, this is in one whole stack that's going in the whole thing, and it's set to a fixed width. And if we were to set it to fill, then you can kind of see that everything changes. Everything fills to the size of the frame, right? So, like before, it was like this. If I go to desktop inicio, which is basically holding everything, it's set to fixed width. That's why everything is so wide here in these other screens. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's best to always open the different viewports and build like this, right? Going back to this, I don't really know why it's not showing, honestly. I've never seen this before. Maybe there's some type of bug here. If we can probably duplicate this. Let me just play around with this. Yeah, it's strange. Navigation. And I have a question before we fix this, because there's this, I don't know why it's not working. There should be some type of bug somewhere, but we can easily rebuild it again. But what I want to know is like what was your how did you build this? Like, did you use that like plugin from Figma to Framer? Because there's a plugin that you can use, I think, or did you build it from scratch?
Yeah, no, I did not use any plugins. I was like doing it manually. I started using some of the Framer assets initially.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much how I did it.
So like these things, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of these personally. I don't know why they're not so good. I when I started off with Framer like 2 years ago, I also used these, but I came up with a bunch of problems. Um,
Mm,
they're not like really optimized, meaning that they haven't really been updated for a while. And
right.
yeah, so but that's okay. It's no worries. It's like your first time building with Framer, so it's totally fine. Um, it's just important to find kind of like a way that works, right? There's one
Mm-hmm.
way. I mean, one way of I think the easiest way of building in Framer and is with component libraries, right? This is something that there's multiple different component libraries out there. This is the paid way of building in Framer, right? If you want to have an easy shortcut, right? If you have like some type of component library, like for example, like frame blocks, you can use something like this, and you can just easily drag and drop certain things, boom, boom, boom. But if you want to build from scratch, like you did, which you did a pretty good job at for your first time. You just have to kind of know like the basics of uh, the widths. So like for example, like what I just did with this fixed width, like it's best never to have like a fixed width. It's always good to have like something set to fill. For
Got
example, this is set to fixed, so we would want to set it to fill, and everything inside of it, like the content, also set to fill. Let's set this to fill, and this also set to fill. And it's gonna look very stretched in the beginning, but you can already see that in the mobile version, it's starting to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything has to be set to fill. So now in the mobile version, it's getting better. And for these things, so let's see. And you can see when I put this to fill, it gets to its position, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we want this box to contain everything inside of it. So meaning that it fits the stuff inside. But then you want to create that space by making paddings. So
Mm-hmm.
a padding like this, oh, not so much. Hold on. Let me delete this a little bit. You want to start creating paddings everywhere. So this, for example, would have to have a larger padding. So we can make it like maybe 260, 260, something like this. And then in the phone version, we can decrease the padding a bit to be something less, like 180 here, 180 here. Also, if you don't want it to be so long,
Mm-hmm.
you can click on this content here, for example, and you can go here and add a max width. That means that the width is going to be filled until a certain width. So if I click on this and I go to fixed for a max width, um, this might be a little bit confusing at first to understand the concept, but it basically
Nah, everything makes sense so far.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so basically we have like a maximum width, so it's never gonna be more than 680 pixels wide. It's gonna be fill, but it's gonna stop at 680 pixels. That means that here in the phone it's still fill, you see, but it's not fixed, right? Another thing is that in the phone it's best for the H1. You can see it's pretty big here, but for the phone you can add breakpoints. So for the large one, it's going to be 48 pixels. For the medium, it can be also 48. Didn't look so bad, right? And then for the phone, it can be something like, 36, right?
This is a basic question, but what is a breakpoint?
Breakpoints. So breakpoints are basically these. So a breakpoint is, if I were to publish this, right? And go here. This is gonna be like 1,200 pixels of width, right? This is the standard breakpoint for a desktop. If I were to go lower, this would be like a tablet breakpoint, and then you can start seeing that you can't really see it because it's very similar everything. But if I were to change certain things, if I were to make, for example, this red in the tablet and this blue, right? obviously.
So
whenever
every
you
time
edit
you change the size, it's also going to change that.
yeah, exactly. So let's update this, and then let's refresh this, refresh, and then you can see tablet, phone. You see?
So, in other words, a breakpoint, it would be sort of like those different views you may have. In this case, computer, tablet, and phone.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's why it says here desktop, tablet, and phone, right?
Gotcha,
So
makes sense.
Yeah, so you want to create different views for these different breakpoints. So, for example, in this phone, you can see that there's too much padding on the phone. It's great to have this amount of padding for the desktop or for the tablet. It looks wonderful. But for the phone, you might want to reduce this, right? So you might want to make it like maybe 30 on the right, 30 on the left. So now you can see it's much nicer, much more breathable somehow, right? Again, this is something that you decide. Like usually designers decide this. This is kind of like my way of doing it. Also, you would want the button to be set to fill. So it's, oh wait, let's see this. Yeah, here. You would want the button to be set to fill, for example, like this, because it's like a mobile. You have your finger, and you don't want to have a small space. You want to have it like filled, right? That's one way of doing it. So, all in all, this hero section would be considered almost done, right? We'd have to test to see what can still be better. Maybe, for example, I have this big screen, right? And if I were to, go like this, you can see that it really stretches out, right? You can add like max width to here. Like for example, if I were to go over here, I can add a max width to this column containing the text, and I can add this max width like this and make it 1200. Enter and publish, update, and then refresh this page. Oops, why is it not working? Okay, I understand. This should be in the middle. So if we put this centered, there we go. Centered, fill, and now here's 64 pixels. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah, and usually I also don't add a section like this covering everything. I just put like the things like this under the nav bar. I think it's easier also. So we can start doing that as well. So here, this hero section now, it should be working. If let's see. These are the things that we sometimes have to fix here and there, right? So update, and then if I were to go here, there you go. You see how it stays like in the middle, aligned in the middle. So, and then like this is like the normal laptop size, and then like in a massive screen, it stays aligned in the middle. So, yeah, that's basically. I mean, we're getting there. Do you have any questions until now? Am I going too fast, maybe?
No, that's pretty good so far, Lucas.
Okay, cool. So we also have textiles, and I saw that you made that. That's really good. You'll have a textile for this. You have a textile for this. Well, you don't, but let's just create it. This is going to be the body, right? And for the body, I think you have it here. Great. You can use this for the body as well, but obviously we want another color, like a white. And this is important to have in your project for SEO purposes. As a marketer, you should know, like, SEO, the search engine reads your site better if you have these textiles. So if you have textiles here on your nav bar, if you have these alt text on your images, like if you were to click here and describe your image, it's better for your SEO eventually. But these are things that I do at the very end of the project. I like to, as a designer, I like to build first, right? So
yes, actually, all the pictures that I put in the file at the moment, they're sort of like, let's say, not the final ones, because let's say I took a screenshot from some of the pictures I had, and then I'm just asking my dad to get the high quality one. So I think that's one of the reasons why I decided not to go too deep into, for example, the descriptions, because I knew eventually I'm going to replace them for a higher resolution version,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. Um, yeah, they're placeholders. I have to see something.
Placeholders.
Something is going wrong here with my. 1 second, Diego. Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Oh, I don't think the recording is working. Okay, so yeah, these are placeholders. At the end, yeah, whenever you have the images that you want to have, then obviously it's good to add alt text. And there's plugins that help you, create the alt text. So if you have all of these different images, instead of going in one by one, you can just use something like this.
Oh, that's very useful. I didn't know.
Yeah, for sure. This is a big project. We can do a couple of sessions if you want. Eventually, it's gonna be, there's a lot of things to learn, and yeah, like for example with this alt text. But let's continue with the front end. So I also saw that you created a button, and you have this button here, and usually when I make a button, I'm gonna move this around here. Every time I make a button, I try to create a component out of it. So I'm going to call this button. And the reason why I like to make a component out of it is because you tend to use buttons multiple times throughout your project, right? So you can use it in the hero section in the beginning. You can use it in different pages, and you have different variants of buttons, right? I just saw right here you have, for example, this variant, right? This is like a button without without the bubble, right? And you have it here again, right? And then you have a black version. So instead of just like copy pasting stacks like that, we can create this button, and we create different variants. So we have variant 2, which would be like a black color and a white font. And then we can create variant 3, which would be basically 0 padding, 0 fill. Let's remove that fill, and let's put this as black. And then we can add, oh, this also has like a border. Let's remove that. And then I believe it has like some nice little arrow, right? So let's get this arrow. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to bring this to my button, and I'm going to put it right next to this text, like so. And just make sure that it looks good. Okay. And then we can name these. So this can be white. So I'm going to put white. I'm going to put black. And I'm going to put text, right? And then each button variant, so these are different variants, each button variant can have a hover state. So if I were to click on here, hover, you can basically change the background to be a little bit grayer, so that whenever someone hovers their mouse over this,
it changes.
It changes, right? So let's just replace this with this one. So let's put it here under actions, and this actions, I'm going to make it fill, and this button can stay like this. And let's make this button here fill. Boom. And now if I press publish and update and go to our here, I can hover over and it's like a little bit gray, right? So this is like the basics of building buttons, right? You want to have a system that's very organized, and it's good for SEO because the browser knows that you're using a button system, that you're repeating it everywhere, and it's just organized for your project, right? So we can just do the same here. We can get this. Let's first of all let's move this out of the inicio stack. Let's put it like this, and then let's replace this button with, let's just copy this down and bring this here, and we can oh, and another thing, sorry, if we go back to this buttons, we can go here and we can create a here where it says content, so that it's not always the same text, because if I were to click on this button, we can't really edit the text, right? So if I were to double click and go back into the component and click on this, I can create a variable plain text variable. That's called the text, right? And then if I were to click on this button, this variable changes. So I can put like, let me just copy this text, and then I just, paste it here, and boom. And then to change this variant, I go from white to text, and then just put it here, and it's done, right? Where's the button? Let's put it in the actions place, and then the actions, we want to make it fill. Boom. So, and then we can even add some interactivity to this one. So the text, add hover, and then we can make this, for example, like maybe go like a little bit more to the right somehow. Maybe go like this. So if I were to press play here and just preview this, it can go like this, right? You'd have to kind of
Nice.
adjust this in a way so that it's centered, right? But that's basically how it's done. And yeah, so now let's try to, right now it's not really fit in the mobile or the tablet version, right? In the mobile version, for example, images and text don't really go together on the sides. It's usually, you flip them like that. So let's make sure that this is responsive. Let's remove this fixed width. Like, remember, these main stacks should never have a fixed width. They should always be fill. Some people make it relative. I make it fill. I just think it's better like that. And then we have container. Let's make this fill as well. And then we have this nice little, in benefit 1 we have 60, 60, but here it's 64, 64. So let's make it the same in terms of padding. I think there's like extra padding here, and I have to see why. Maybe there's like a extra column. Why is it so? Because there's a lot more space here, you see? I'm trying to
there is more space.
Trying to figure out where that's coming from. So if I put 0, it looks like this. So let me just go back. Let's see, it's not from here. Okay, I think I know why. I think it's because this has to be set to start. Okay. And this set to fill. Okay, it's looking good. Alright. Okay. So this would be, I usually also like in terms of text, make sure that this is not an H1. I mean, you can do it, but an H2 would be better. H1s are usually just up here, and then for the H2 we can put this down here. We can make the line height a little bit less, so it's like closer to each other. Looks better like that. And now let's make sure that this is all responsive, right? So this text doesn't overflow like that. So always from the desktop version, that's where you fix it so that it collapses to the other ones. So we do this fill like that, boom. And let's just make sure that everything is set to fill. This can be set to fill as well, so it's all like the same. Section title, fill, action fill. Okay, so it's looking good. And then we have this image, right? This image has a fixed height. A fixed height is totally fine for images. And now we have to find a way for it to look better in these other perspectives. So since there's a lot of text and there's this one image, what we can do is we can do something like this. This can be one way of dealing with it, and going like this. And this one seems to be a little bit too. Okay, let me see how we fix this. So this button is okay. We can reduce the gap here because it's of the padding here because it's a mobile version. So we have this like filled button, this fill with button. this looks good in the mobile. This might look too big in the tablet, so we might want to like make it like this. I'm not sure how we would want to design this. If maybe we can put this like on the top or on the bottom, or we can reduce some of the gap here, right? Because there's a lot of gap space. But again, there's a lot of text, right? So this is, you know, you're the main designer here, so you have to kind of decide if you want it to be like left and right, or you want it to be up and down, right?
I'll probably because I haven't worked on those views yet. One thing I might do is to adjust the copywriting, so I might make it shorter depending on the version, if it's a tablet or a phone.
Okay.
But I think at the moment I'll probably go with image in the bottom for the tablet and the phone.
Okay, image in the bottom for the tablet and the phone. Okay, so let's just
for the moment.
Okay, sounds good. Then let's just put it like that. I mean, it looks more organized in my opinion, right? And then basically what you can do is try to do the same thing. I wanna leave this for you, just like as a how do you say, like as a little challenge for this next one, because it's basically like the same thing, right? It's the same thing as this one, but from the other side.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. A bit of some homework.
Exactly, a little bit of some homework. So this would be, I'm gonna write HW just so you know, and basically, yeah, it's trying to make this responsive, right? Again, the key here is fill widths with everything. Whenever you see something overflow, it's because the width is set to fixed, and the framer thinks that it has to stay fixed at that width. But in the reality, it has to be filled in the container that it's nested in. So you have to, that's like the key basically, that it has to be filled with. And another thing also that I mentioned that I just saw right now is that the heights are set to fit. That's great. So usually it's always fit, has to be fit in the height and fill in the width, and you have this nice padding on the top and bottom. That's great. Like, that's really good. So you got this one as a type of challenge for you. And here in the phone, for this one, it's looking good. I just think that maybe this text, I mean, usually this is like a subheading would be kind of in the same realm as a body. So this kind of looks strange. I'm not gonna lie, just, you know, from a designer point of view, it would look more aesthetic if this would be more similar to this. Like, for example, if this would look like this. I don't know, just because usually when I make my sites, this feature text is basically in the same hierarchy as this one. You know, this is a H1 or H2, right? And this would be also an H2, and it's right underneath, right, with the same spacing and everything. So it looks kind of strange that in these two sections we have a body, and then here it's like it's a title and a H4, but it's like the same type of hierarchy, right? It's just a title and a description, right? So
correct.
It's so that it stays consistent. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so what is this? So is this like something?
Yeah. So initially on the Figma file, I was thinking in adding different testimonials. So based on the project, how it works is that you got one of these athletes who will give you the support for the project.
Okay.
So with 3 is not enough, but then I wasn't able to copy the same layout I had in Figma. So then again, I went to Framer and I used one of the mockups they have, one of the templates. So not 100% sure if that was the best way to do it. I just had to find a way to put it in visual.
Yeah, no problem. Did you try it out? Does it work?
No, it doesn't work because I only have 3 testimonials at the moment.
Okay.
So I haven't animated it at all.
Okay, no problem. So usually for these types of things, Framer has like you mentioned before, these sections. For me, these sections.
Correct.
These sections don't really work for me, but what works from Framer is where is it? Is these interactive elements here. So in this case, a carousel would be a really good solution here, right? So let's first fix this section and put it, like, just organize it, and then I'm going to add this carousel and show you how to basically edit
All right.
that, right? So we go to testimonials, we put it up here, like in the other, like with the others, and I'm just gonna set it into my way of building, which is with fill, and we have this section's title. Let's set it to fill, but with a max width of 560, right? So max width of 560, enter, and then we want this one to be fill into its stack, and this as well, so it's all filled. Perfect, good. And now let's just, this one is good, this one we won't be needing. I mean, these two we won't be needing. I'm gonna just select them and put them to the side here, okay? And we're gonna be using these cards. I think these cards are pretty well. They're nice. They look nice, and they're ready to be used in the carousel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put them out of this stack that you created. Put them down here. So we're gonna be using these three, and I'm going to, if it's okay, I'm going to duplicate these and create like 3 dummy ones, right? Really quickly, just to show you if we had more. So I'm going to go here and image. I'm going to choose some random like portrait of some person, just to like show the, right, let's just pick this girl, and then we go here and we go just to pick some random images, right? And now, okay, so we have these 6 different cards. So what we can do is we can go here, and under the sections we're gonna have to add a carousel. So insert, and we go to, where is it, interactive carousel, and I go in here, boom, I make this fill width, and let me see how it looks like in your Figma. So you have like until here, until the edges. So we want to have this again 64. That was like the one from the top. So let's just keep this consistent everywhere. And we have this height of like 360. So let's make it a little bit higher than 360, maybe like 400. And then what we can do is we can use this and we can start linking with this little tool here. Everything.
Gotcha.
Like that. Right? And then they have these little arrows in the bottom. Well, there's only one arrow actually. I think, okay, we're gonna delete this and I'm gonna choose another one. So there's the carousel, and the carousel has one arrow, and the slideshow has 2 arrows. So we're gonna try it with the slideshow actually. So let me just increase the size to about 400, make the width fill, and go ahead and zoom out a bit, and then connect everything. I hope this is the right way of doing it. 1 second. Let me just finish here. Something looks a little bit off, as you can see. Okay, okay, no, we have to use the other one, sorry. So the slideshow is only showing one at a time, and then the other one is like more of a carousel. So let's just...
Maybe the other one, just add the next arrow once you go through.
Yeah, exactly.
The images.
That's what it does, exactly. So this, we can fit the content, and these images, I believe they have like a shadow, right? So
okay,
we have to add some type of spacing so that it looks not like cut off like this. Right now it looks a little bit cut off. So if we add some spacing on the top, it might look a little bit better. And can we add some padding here? Oh, you can. Okay, no, doesn't really work like that. I'm just trying to see how you see how it's a little bit cut off here?
Yeah.
We can go through that later, but basically this is the way how to do it. So if I were to go here and see this, yeah, then we basically have this little arrow. And we can move these arrows to go underneath, like in your Figma. Oh no, they're here on the sides. Okay. So you can style the arrows to have a specific type of fill. So they can be a little bit darker, I believe. They can be like this. They can be white. And or you can upload like custom arrows. So if you want to have it just like this, you can export this as an image and paste that, like upload that here, right? Like as the next one, right? As an image.
Okay.
So that can be an option, right? Or you can use these black solid ones.
Yeah, look, I think the ones that are standards for the moment are fine.
Yeah.
I think Figma for us more than sticking to the design as you saw, I did a few changes. So it's more just to have a bit of the idea of how I think the website should be working. So to me, the arrows were more just to have an idea that it should be interactive.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Then, then we can just. I guess the most important thing before we actually go into detail like this is actually finishing the site, right? Finishing the whole structure. So, but we're going in a good way. So basically, this would be like this. Now for these different sizes, this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. We would have to again here adjust the padding here. And the padding here, and it might not. Well, okay, it might look like this. If you want to have a different type of design for this, we can do that as well. But usually it would look something like this. So just show one card. But again, these are things that we can do at the very end. If you have like some other type of idea, it's all possible with Framer. Okay, what is this? This is something that I haven't seen. Oh, okay, it's this one. Got it. Okay. So as you can see here in the mobile version, we just have to kind of make this like this. I would put it into a stack going downwards, and then fill. Remove the padding, and you see how it cuts off over here, like that's also like something to do with the fixed height, you see, as a fixed height. But let's just fix that here. Now it's gonna fix. So everything key is just fitting heights so that the content fits, and fill widths, right? And max width. Fill widths, max widths. Right, so then these are the different grids. Cool. So, okay, we got the buttons again. We can again use our button component and bring it down here. And más información. Let's just copy this and delete this, and let's make this black, and let's choose the text. Boom. And as you can see, this one is a little bit bigger and this one was smaller. That means that these buttons were smaller than these white buttons, and usually it's best to always stay consistent. Like, in a web design world, like that's like something that's kind of we all try to maintain, like this consistency everywhere, right? It creates a good design of your page. So let's just put this like this. Let's delete this button. Boom. And then we could just copy this, paste it in here, delete this button, copy this here, delete the button, and then for the phones we could just make the buttons fill with, and obviously like make sure that everything is a little bit like wider for the phone. there's also these issues with the shadows. I've had a project before that we also had this type of issue um, with the shadow, and it's because of the spacing, right? I think one way of getting rid of that is, yeah, okay, perfect. We can just do it like that. So I just set the overflow. Okay, so before it was looking like this. It's cut off, like also in the carousel it's like this, but whenever you click on the parents stack, like the stack that holds everything, you set the overflow to visible, and then this one, overflow to visible, and then you can basically see the the shadows. And we can do the same thing for this. Well, we can do that. Let me just see if it's somewhere here. But these are like just little things that we do at the very end, you know? So I just have to find out where it is. It's somewhere here. Fading? No. Okay, doesn't matter. We can check that out later. Okay, let's just continue with the structure. So this kind of looks a little bit strange. I'm going to make this fill, and I'm going to delete the padding on the right and left from this one, so that just stays consistent. And let's set this to visible here, so we can see the shadows nice. And then here, for example, I'm just setting this to fill. Now it fills up. And for example, these would be set to fill as well. Well, let's put this one to fill. There we go. It's going to be filled to the edge of this stack, which has a 64 padding on the left and right. And this one would have to also be set to fill.
With that one, I think I was thinking more as in an animation where you have sort of like stack of images just flowing.
Okay.
And then you have one after the other one. It can also get like just fixed images, but initially that was like sort of the idea of why the images were outside of the frame to have that bit of motion. Because the project has, let's say, about thinking, I don't know, maybe 50 pictures.
Okay.
I was thinking in getting that animation.
Okay.
I don't know how you call it, infinite scroll or.
Well, in Framer we call it ticker. It's a ticker, right? Because it's like
ticker.
It's like a timed scroll animation, right? So we can actually move these guys out here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a ticker into this, or I'm going to actually delete this, and I'm going to do the following. I'm going to go to insert and interactive. In this area where we found the carousel, we have up here the ticker, and we can just drag this guy in here underneath and make him fill with. And in order so that it reaches the edges, what we can do is we can delete the padding here and here, and we can just apply the padding to this top one, to this top container, the left, this left and right padding, right? So that it stays, this stays nice and aligned with everything in the project, but this can go all the way to the edges, so it looks nice. So let's say that we want to have these images as the ticker images. There's actually a problem with this one that's like cut off a bit. So let me just fix it. Wait, hold on. Okay, I think
interesting. We can remove that one. That's fine.
Okay. Because this is like I don't know where you got this from. Did you get it from Figma?
Yeah, probably that was like I exported it from Figma. Yeah.
Oh, I can't edit this, but yeah, basically, I mean, yeah, you can just export it again. We can use it for now.
Yeah, that's
no
fine.
problem. But let's just remove these from the stack, and I'm gonna put the ones that are on the top So these four. I'm going to put these, and I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to put these into its own stack. And so that it has like this nice little space between. So what we do is we go like this, and again, just like with the carousel, we connect the stuff. We connect the stuff like this. Oh, sorry, 1 second, like this, and like this. And then, for example, this one goes, oh, we have to remove these from here. And put them like this, and remove these two. And go like this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then for each one of these, we can, okay, adjust the size to be something like this. And then what we do, I mean, this picture, for example, is a little bit cut off on the right side, so it doesn't look so nice. Well, I don't know why it's linking to that actually. Oh, I mistakenly linked this one. So let me just remove it. We can remove it by going here. Remove? Is it this one? No. Okay, yeah. And then which one did I miss? This one. This one. Okay. So this one also has like some space here. That's why you can see some space. But if they were all like filled, it would be like looking like this. You see, like a perfect.
Yeah,
gap.
correct.
So just keep that in mind for now. All right. So we can make one move to the left, and then we can make the other one move to the right. And then if we leave it at 100% speed, it's going to be very fast. So let's put it like, I'm going to put it 25%. And then what we do is we go down here, or up here, sorry. We scroll down, and then you can see it moves like that, like a nice.
Perfect. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we do. And we have these like these little gradients on the side. We can remove that if we want, like just going here and doing no to fade, and then it's like a solid.
Oh yeah, I think that looks better.
Yeah. So yeah, this is basically it. This is with the ticker, right?
And so whenever you're working with the images, you tend to put them outside, like on the left side, and you just leave them there?
Yeah.
Is that the place where images live?
Yes, exactly. That's where, whenever you're working with carousels and with tickers and with these other ones that were in these interactive. So basically these three, you have to leave them outside of the frame.
Right.
And they have to link like that. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it is with that.
Cool.
And so that's basically it with this is with all of the static stuff that you see here, like all of these different things that we see here. Let me just remove some of the stack, the padding on the right and left of this one, so that it looks a little bit, Okay, just checking to see. And we want to make this fill. And we want to make this 64. So we already have like this pretty much, in a good way. Oh, look at the phone. We have to fix the phone here and this. So that's actually something. Let's do that. Okay. So again, it all has to do with fill width and just making everything fill and fit each other. This one we can maybe be a little bit less. This one should be fill. This one has to be its own button, so we can just copy this and move this out like this. Oh, what was the text? In construction.
In construction.
Yeah. So in construction, we can go like this, for example, and then delete this button stack, and then make this fill. So just making sure that everything is set to fill. Here it would look like this. I would say that it would be better like this for the tablet, and then for the phone, you can see that this is also set to fit. Let's put this to fill, and then we want this to be 30 on the phone, 30 left, 30 right.
Is that sort of like the standard?
Yeah, like I always, you know, if I put like the padding on the tablet and desktop like 60, I always try to make it 30 or 20 on the phone, just because the phone is so thin, and if you have like a big padding on the right and left, it's gonna be very thin, the content in the middle, right? Like based off of like many stuff that pages that I've built, it ends up looking much better like that. So
perfect.
And then for this, we just align it like to make it, you know, vertical, not horizontal. We can edit the gap here. Let me go downwards. Wait, what is wrong with this? Like this. And then, well, we have this to fill. We can set this to fit, and then it can be on the left. I would, you know, for the phone, how can I explain this? For this text button, I would put
change it to a button.
Yeah, like to something like with a border, maybe like a white, you know, like this.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you can see the space that the user has, you know.
Correct. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
yeah, so that's one way of doing it. For the phone, we can make these a little bit smaller in terms of height. Well, the problem is that they're all linking to like the same things here, and like this is the thing with these tickers, is that like they all change based on.
So with the ticker, you can't really just change the view on the phone.
Exactly. That's kind of the problem with Framer and its tickers, and with the carousels as well. With the carousels, it's also not like it's all linking to one size. So like we can think of it like you can either have something like that, but it's gonna be, you know, much larger in a way, and it won't be looking so nice. But you can also think of another solution, of another type of solution that might look better eventually.
So you can also, for example, potentially remove that section from the phone view.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You can remove it from the phone view. So like this, for example, I just go and delete, and it's gone, for example. We can do that as well. That's no problem.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll need to think some ideas like after having like these 5 and obviously review everything we've discussed, you know, to make sense out of everything, and then I'll try to brainstorm. As we said, like same things of the copywriting, images, etc.
Just make sure to like create the different pages and add the different content, right? Like just make sure to do that, and try to. Oh, you already added CMS. Interesting. Okay. Try to create the different pages with a different structure and make it responsive first. That's like the main. That's like the main thing you want to do, right? It doesn't matter the design. Like you said, you can put placeholders, whatever, but focus on when you make a new page, open the 3 different viewports, and build like that. It's gonna help you so much. Like,
yeah, so I think I got it wrong, because I thought it was going to be better to build the entire desktop view first and then go like for each section.
Yeah.
Whereas your approach is more like build first each section, optimize it, and then go to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do, kind of, because it's I guess it's just more. It's easier for me somehow. I think I've worked on so many Framer projects, and I used to do that in the beginning, and now it's just much easier to just go on. You feel much more relieved that you can just.
Yeah, it looks more efficient and more organized. Yeah. So. Really happy to see that you approach and now implement it in the next pages.
Yeah, definitely. Try to do that in the next pages. Like just try to open the different viewports and design responsively. And so basically this would be like kind of the best practice of how to do it. So this is kind of, I think, by the way, how do you like understand everything? Do you have any places where you kind of feel still stuck?
No, I think it's pretty good, pretty clear everything we've discussed so far.
Okay.
And so no questions at the moment.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna cover one last thing. I don't know how good
Mhm.
are you with time, Diego?
I'm probably better than you.
Okay. Okay. Good. What time? Okay, so it's Saturday already over there.
It's yeah, it's Saturday, so we're in the future, and
In
it's
the future.
11 a.m.
Wow, insane. That's crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think we have about 9 hour difference. Is it with the U.S. With Chile is 14 hours difference. I don't know with you guys.
I mean, right now it's 7 p.m. Friday.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's probably 14 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
If my math is right.
Yeah, I think it should be like Chile, maybe 2 hours less or 1 hour
14
less.
hours. 14:07. So that's 14. I think it's actually more. It might be either 16 or 12.
I don't know. I have to see.
But interesting.
Chile time. Okay, yeah, Chile's 2 hours more in the future, yeah. Like Santiago. Okay, yeah, so one more thing that I want to cover is the navigation bar and the footer. So, so these two things, for the nav bar, you did a good job. I can hover over it, and it's a component. So,
the navigation bar actually was one of the layouts that I used from Framer. So maybe that's one of the reasons why the logo is not showing.
You mean this one? Like
I don't remember which one I used, but yeah, it's one of those.
Okay, I'm still wondering why it doesn't show. Because it should show. Like, it looks all, it looks fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to duplicate it and just create a new one from scratch, because it was working with the framer icon, but when I replaced it, it didn't show.
Okay, I understand. Well, you know what I love to do, and I always say this in my YouTube channels. I never build a nav bar from scratch, and the reason being is that it's kind of complicated, and there's really good free tools out there that you can just use and duplicate and use for your own project, right? So one tool that I really like to use, and it's here and it's for free, is this one called Compa. Actually, let me open this in my app because I'm logged into these things here. So let me just go here. So we have plugins, and then we have Compa. And if we click on Compa, we basically have these blocks, and there's a bunch of different things that we can use. This is a component library. This is what I was talking to you before, that most of them are paid. Like, for example, frame blocks, like I showed you before, is paid. But Compa is like it's like a Relume. I think you used Relume, right? For the
I did, yes.
Yeah, it's like Relume, but for Framer. And it's not so extensive as Relume, but it's like wireframe kind of. So this navbar one is perfect. Like, I love it. I always use it for some of my projects, and I just drag it and put it on the top. And now what do I do is that I go here to layers, and I'm going to move your old one, and I'm going to put it. Oh, I think. Interesting. Okay, it's fixed. That's why. Okay, no problem. So here we can see the logo, right? And what we can do here is just make sure that this is set to fill. Right now it's set to fixed. Fill. And what we can do here is we can go ahead and double click, so make sure that everything is good. So this is the tablet view. It has this little menu, so that's all looking good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to double click on this, unlink and replace all, and then we have our navbar structure. And
Nice.
we just have to do a bit of replacing everywhere. So I'm going to get this, and I'm going to double click on this, get your logo, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put fit here, and I'm going to call this logo, and we're going to copy this and go back here, and inside of, well, we already have the space, so I'm just going to click on this and move this in here, delete this, delete this, delete this, and then we can go back home. Oh, it's not showing. Oh my god. What's wrong with this little thing here? Logo. There's something wrong with this.
I don't think it's the image because the image is showing on the footer.
Huh. It's definitely this thing, maybe, or it has to do with the logo.
Maybe I just need to upload like the image again without copy pasting the one from the one you used before.
But it's, oh, I know why. Because this is a graphic. This is a graphic here, and this is an image.
Okay.
And there's something wrong with that. And let's just get the footer one. Let's see how the footer one is built. So this is a frame with a fill of an image. So if I were to go back here, and let's just use that, right? That works. So let's just put this company logo in here, and just decrease the size a bit, go like that, and then boom, it should be there.
There we go.
Yeah. So that's how it would work. And basically what we want to do is, we have this old nav bar, we can just replace it. So we have misión, exposiciones, so we have all of these different things. And I would say think about the structure of the nav bar. You can leave it like this, but you can also do things like with drop down that, you know, there's a main category and then there's like 3 things under this category.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Interesting.
I'm trying to think about like how you would do it, but this is just a variant, like a way of, you know, just so that it's not so populated. And for example,
so what I would do, I would leave mission, and I would group exposiciones, auspicios, libros, and apoya. I would group them into those 4 into one category, and then I would leave leyendas outside.
Okay.
So, and contáctanos as a button.
Okay, then let's do that. So let's get this misión, and let's put that here. Misión. Let's move that in the front, and let's just leave it like this for now. Or actually, let's just leave it like features for now. I think that looks better. And then you said leyendas goes out. So let's copy leyendas and copy and go like this. And then what we can do is that we can bring our button from out here and put it over here, paste, and delete these buttons, and we can put contáctanos like right here.
Yes, that looks good.
That can be a good, good option. And by the way, a button links somewhere, right? So we're missing a variable. We're missing a link variable. So
correct.
So we have to actually add that by going up here, link, and then we create a variable, and it's going to be the link. And now each button is going to have that link variable. So
perfect.
And then
and I'll probably leave that one as black, using the black button.
Yeah, sure. We can do that. There, boom, something like that.
Okay. I'll need to work on that, but yeah.
And what you can do at the very end, like this looks pretty cool, but you can also do like you can make this like a different nav bar, like keep remove this white, and then when you scroll down here, then it turns white. something like that. You know, like
Oh,
those are
yeah.
things that you can do at the very end in terms of
Because at
design.
the moment, the nav bar, it's not fixed
Yeah.
to the website, right? So how do you make it so that when you scroll down, it gets fixed?
So you can just click on fix. That's one way of doing it. So when you click on fix, so as you can see, I click on fix, and then it collapses up. That's because it's getting out of that relativity from that main desktop or from the main frame, and it's just staying sticked to the top. So if you go like this, for example, it's staying sticked 30 pixels from the top. You know?
Oh, I see.
So that's kind of like how it works, and then you'd have to make this relative. So I wouldn't put sticked a fix. I would try maybe, let's do this one with sticky, and then sticky would be at the top sticky, and then we would need some overflow visible, and then it would look like this.
Exactly. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's, and then it stays in the same, you know, fill width, because with the fixed, it can't be fill width. So yeah, it's just, trust me, it's better when it's sticky like this. Yeah.
Trust you.
there's an explanation behind it, but it's like very technical. But yeah, that's basically like, that's the best way of doing this with the nav bar. You know, you just have like this compa nav bar, and you just, you know, edit it like this, right? You have these nice little features. You can just duplicate it and put the fourth one, right? Right now we have 3, but if we go like that, boom, we have 4, and you can rename them right here, and then you can go even one step further and change these. You can make them into this gold color, right? So like it was like a little gold color like this, so it matches the logo a little bit, right? I don't know. You can go wild with that, right? So
Pretty good.
yeah, that's basically it. I mean, you have to do this, right? Important that you learn how to do that. But yeah, I hope you learned something today. I hope it was insightful for you.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. I hope the other team of your community that probably are more starting with this can also get a bit of learning. And super grateful for this session. And of course, the website is a bit of it's a big project overall, but if we tackle it per sort of section, I think we'll make great progress every day.
For sure, man. And let's do another session next week if you want, another hour.
Awesome.
And
let's do it.
And then I think, yeah, let's just see how far we get. But I just want to show you kind of the, you know, like the basics of Framer of building responsively, so you can really build a good, efficient site, so that it doesn't break and then you don't freak out. You build it efficiently and it works. Yeah.
And that's pretty good, because once you get the basics right, then you can start exploring different options. But yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Exactly. At the beginning, we build the foundation, right? And then at the end, if you want to add some cool designs, if you want to add some cool interactivity, we can do that as well. But that comes more at the end. First, it's just building the foundation for the whole site. All right? So
perfect.
Awesome. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. Let me just stop with this recording.